You're listening to the Balanced Educator Podcast, episode number 34. Welcome to the Balanced Educator. We're your hosts, Kaylee
and Josiane from Educalm. Our intention is to equip and empower you to feel more calm, balanced, and joyful in all aspects of your life.
Hello there and welcome to the show. If you are new here, welcome. We are so excited to have you and we invite you to subscribe so that you can connect with us every single Monday when our new episodes come out. If you listen every week or you're currently binge listening, welcome back. We love sharing this time with you. All right, this week we are sharing 10 ways that you can infuse mindfulness into your school day. Now, before we get into the episode, want to remind you that enrollment for Educalm Classroom is open and people are coming in, joining the crew, and it is so exciting and fun. Welcome to everyone that has already enrolled, and for those of you that haven't yet, you've still got a little bit of time. So Educalm Classroom is our zero prep mindfulness program that gives you a full year of ready-to-use guided mindfulness practices and curriculum so that you can learn and practice mindfulness daily with your students all year long. When you enroll in Educalm Classroom, you have access to all our guided mindfulness practices, lessons, and activities in both English and French, which we know is super helpful for French immersion teachers just like us. When you enroll in Educalm Classroom before October 12th, you'll be entered to win our Educalm Teacher Prize Pack. This is so exciting. It includes a full scholarship to the next round of our Educalm Teacher course, which is coming up in January. It also includes this, oh my gosh, such delicious coffee from Jacked Up Jill. Beautiful handmade soap from Clay Soap, a handmade rope tray to help you keep your desk looking beautiful and organized from Little Love Home, and these amazing eye pillows for you and your littles to use during your mindfulness practice from Lil Yogis. All of these prizes are lovingly made from local Manitoba makers, and actually Jacked Up Jill and Little Yogis are both owned by teachers. How cool is that? So enrollment for our 2018 Educalm Classroom is it closes on October 31st. So if you are interested in enrolling, if you want to join the Educalm Classroom community, go to educalm.com/classroom. So that's spelled educalme.com/classroom. Now, if you're still wondering if Educalm Classroom is the right fit for you, go to podcast.educalm.com and read the blog post that we wrote called What is Educalm Classroom and Is It Right for Me? In this blog post, we share everything that's included in Educalm Classroom. We list it all out for you so it's super clear. We give you the pricing and we answer a lot of your frequently asked questions. So again, if you are ready to enroll, you can go to educalm.com/classroom. And if you want more information, head on over to podcast.educalm.com and read our blog post called What is Educalm Classroom and Is It Right for Me? All right. Now, if Educalm Classroom feels like a fit for you, we are so excited to welcome you into our community and to support you this school year to have an amazing, mindful year with your students. One of the fun features that we've added for this school year is an Educalm Classroom private community Facebook group. And every single month, we're going to be going into that Facebook group and doing a Facebook Live. So any questions that come up for you throughout the month, any situations that pop up that you'd like our advice on, we are going to be getting together as a community every month to share our stories, share our triumphs, share any struggles we might be going through, and just really be there to support each other, to have just a great balanced year where we're supporting ourselves, our students, and each other. So when you enroll in Educalm Classroom, not only are you getting those guided mindfulness practices, the lessons, the activities, the projects, everything that you need to be able to practice this every single day for an entire school year, no prep required. You also get this awesome community and our support all along the way. So one last time, if you are interested in enrolling in Educalm Classroom, go to educalm.com/classroom. All right, guys, now let's get into today's show, which is 10 ways to infuse mindfulness into the school day. Now, because we have a list here, we don't want you to have to take notes. So we've created some notes for you on this subject so that you can listen to this in the car or wherever and not forget all of the ideas that we're giving you. So you can find a free PDF with the information that we share in this show in our Balanced Educator free resources. So you can get that by going to educalm.com/the Balanced Educator. And when you enroll in the Balanced Educator free resources, you get access to all of the past freebies we've made and all of the free resources that we continue to make in the future. All right, let's go to the show.
Okay, let's get started.
All right.
Okay, let's just go back a couple steps here and tell me what mindfulness is.
So mindfulness is simply paying attention to the present moment with openness, curiosity, and non-judgment. So all it is just noticing the simple things that are in this moment. So noticing what breathing feels like, noticing what you're hearing, noticing, the tingling in your fingers or the beating of your heart, or noticing in the moment what the person you're talking to looks like and how they're reacting and, just being really aware of what's happening right now.
Yeah, I saw the definition recently, intentionally paying attention.
Yeah.
And I like that because it was short and sweet, and that's exactly what it is.
Yeah.
I love it.
It's just paying attention.
Yes. Now, can you tell me, there's two sides to this practice. There's the formal practice and the informal practice. Can you just take a second to explain?
Yes. So the formal practice is the practice of sitting down or standing or lying down and intentionally paying attention to the present moment. So, it's kind of synonymous with meditation. That's kind of what that practice is. So it's where we're actually practicing learning the skill of paying attention to the present moment on purpose. Now, the informal practice is when we take those skills that we've been learning into our everyday life. So when we've been doing our formal mindfulness practice and learning to breathe deeply and notice how that really feels. Well, now when we're feeling stressed or anxious in our regular life, we have this skill of breathing deep and noticing how it feels that we can use in the moment to support us. So informal practice is just taking whatever skills we've been learning and living them.
Well said. I like that.
Thanks.
Okay, so today we're focusing on the informal practice, and we're talking about ways that we can infuse mindfulness into the school day. So specifically 10 ways, and we have a list outline that we're going to share with you today. So
really organized. Let's start.
Again, very teacher-esque. Is that a word? It is now, I think.
It is now.
Yeah. So the first one is to attach taking a breath to a cue. So what does this mean, Kaylee?
So when we want to make a routine, make something a habit, it's important to help our brain create this habit by attaching it to a cue. So a cue can be anything that happens. And intentionally attaching it to a cue in your day could mean something like every time the bell rings, you take a deep breath. You do it as a class. Or when you get in line, before you actually open the class door to walk into the hallway, everyone takes one deep breath together. Or, as a teacher, as soon as all your students leave the class, before you do anything else, just take one nice deep breath Just gives us a moment to come back, settle, be in the moment before moving forward.
I think too, with this one, you're going to have to, as a teacher, teach this deliberately to your students. It's going to take a while to teach them to do this. Like, for example, attaching it to the bell. But once it's a habit, I think it'll just bring so much goodness and calmness into you and your students' day.
Yeah. It's just a mindful moment before moving on to the next thing. And just like any routine that we create in the classroom, it takes a while to establish it. But once you do, it makes the rest of your year so much smoother.
I feel like that'll make transitions so much nicer. Like if you put it with the bell or with getting in line or whatever, like transitions will go much smoother.
Yeah.
It'll be nice.
Yeah. You can teach your students that transition times can be calm. Like that's something that we can teach them.
I'm going to work on that this year.
Yeah.
We should do a whole episode about that.
Transitions?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll add it to the list.
Yeah.
All right. What's the next way that we can practice infuse mindfulness into our day?
Number 2 is eating a snack mindfully.
Yeah. So for many of us in elementary, we have actual snack time with our students. So eating mindfully, we actually have a whole lesson on this in Educalm classroom in the mindfulness and 5 senses unit.
We also have in the Balanced Educator free resources, there's eating mindfully, like a guide.
Oh, yeah.
There.
Perfect. So
where
there
can
we
we
go.
find that?
You guys can go to educalm.com/the Balanced Educator, and you'll get that free activity in there.
Yeah.
So eating mindfully is just simply paying attention. So maybe you really pay attention to peeling your orange, and then you smell it and you look at it. And you try to notice things that you wouldn't normally notice. And you chew it slowly and you truly taste it. It's really just savoring that food and really, truly enjoying it.
And really using your 5 senses.
Yes, exactly.
Okay, number 3. As you walk in line, you notice the soles of your feet stepping on the ground.
Ooh, that's a good one. And that can be a really great way to support your students in being calm and respectful in the hallway. When, as you're walking, you're truly paying attention to each step. You can even practice taking a breath with each step.
Ooh, you're getting fancy now.
Yeah. But it can be as simple as just asking your students, okay, really pay attention to what it feels like or what does it sound like to walk, and using your 5 senses to truly notice, truly pay attention on purpose to what walking is like.
I love it. Okay. Number 4, between tasks and in transition moments, you add movement where you are attaching the breath to the movement. So for example, the sun breathing. Mm-hmm. Do you want to explain the sun breathing?
Yep. So sun breathing can be done sitting or standing up. You start with your arms along your sides, and as you inhale, you reach your arms straight up towards the sky. You reach up really tall, and as you exhale, you bring your arms back down to your sides, kind of like you're tracing the sun.
And you can do this with any movement.
Yeah.
Like any movement at all, you attach breath to it, and it becomes something done more mindfully.
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay. Next one. You ready? Where was I here? Number 5, an I'm finished activity. So for kids who are done their work, coloring mindfully.
Yeah.
What does it mean to color mindfully?
Coloring mindfully would just be truly paying attention to what you're doing while you're coloring. So it's appreciating the colors, noticing how it feels to color, maybe noticing how it feels to use different tools for coloring. So maybe a crayon is going to feel a little bit different than a pencil crayon, or just really being engaged with your creation process.
I feel that this is something that we would need to explicitly explain to our students.
Yes.
Like the difference between just coloring just to kind of get it over with versus coloring mindfully.
Yeah. And yeah, it's as simple as that. Just as you're coloring, really enjoy it. Really pay attention to it. Really get creative, and just really connect with what it is that you're doing.
I love it. Okay. Number 6, a quick morning or afternoon or anytime the students need it, a check-in, and they can do with their hands 0 to 5, just to find out how they are feeling, and also to share it with the teacher so that the teacher knows where they're at.
Yeah.
So just a quick emotions check-in, let's call it, from 0 to 5, 0 being I'm not feeling good, my energy's not there, to 5, things are great. I'm feeling great today.
Yeah, that's a really good idea. Could also be, for some schools, they have the red, green, and blue.
The zones of regulation. And that's
go.
A whole program. That is a great program too, and actually integrates beautifully with Educalm Classroom.
Yeah.
And I know that some schools use the 5-point scale. Less now. I think zones of regulation it's kind of the new thing. Yeah. I feel like you were going to add something to that. I may have cut you off there.
No, I was just going to say, yeah, it's just a check-in time. So maybe you finish a lesson or you recognize that the energy in the classroom just feels a little bit off. Either there's too much energy or not enough, or you can feel that sort of frustration building, anything like that. You can just say, okay, let's take a break. Everyone, just get them to do anything that will give them a moment to reflect. So what I would do would just say, one hand on your heart, one hand on your belly, close your eyes, take a deep breath. And notice how you're feeling. And then with your eyes closed, show me with your hand where you are on the scale.
Thanks for adding that. I was just going to say that you probably want to do this with having the kids' eyes closed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or looking down. Some students don't feel comfortable closing their eyes, so you can just ask them to look down. But yeah, it takes 1 minute to take a deep breath like that. Just check in. How are you feeling? Okay.
I feel like we should get into this a bit more. So why is it important to do check-ins like this with kids?
Well, when we're in a classroom setting, okay, this is my answer. Maybe you were going for something different, but when we're in a classroom with kids, we are trying to teach them, right? So we want their brain to be learning things. Now, our brain only learns what we're paying attention to. So with learning and memory, oftentimes we feel like, oh, I don't remember something because maybe I don't have a good memory. But what's actually happening for the most part, for most healthy people, is that you didn't truly learn it to begin with. So in order to learn anything, the attention has to be there. Now, when we are feeling overwhelmed or underwhelmed, when we're feeling really low energy, a little bit sleepy, or when we're feeling really excited or frustrated or angry, any of those things, our attention isn't there. Our focus isn't there because our focus and attention is being taken by our emotional state. So when we do a check-in, it gives the students the time to notice, am I focused or not? How am I feeling? And when we give them, throughout the day, these check-in times, we're teaching them to self-regulate. We're teaching them to notice how they're feeling and to recognize if they are in the best state for learning, if they are in the best state for anything, for being a good friend, for listening, for sharing, for teaching. So when we get into the habit of doing this throughout the day, we are teaching our students to get into the habit of this in their life, to check in with how they're feeling and what can they do to support themselves. So hopefully what this is going to help with is to not go from 0 to angry or to not go to all the way to the red zone before we've recognized that we're on our way there. So it helps students to become aware of the changes and where they're at and what they're feeling so that they can be I want to say almost more aware, but more like sensitive to the changes within themselves so they can recognize when they're out of the learning zone more quickly. Does that make sense?
I really like that answer. You went deeper into that than I thought you would.
Yeah.
It's good. It's good. I liked it. Okay, we're at 7 now. Using a tone bar in the classroom and asking all the students to always listen until they can't hear it anymore. So pay attention to the tone bar sound until they can't hear it anymore.
Yeah. So a tone bar is just a little bar that you hit with a mallet. So what you would do is just ask your students to close their eyes if you want. That helps them to focus in and really pay attention to the sound. And then you just hit the tone bar and you ask them to raise their hand once they can no longer hear the sound. So let's listen to what it sounds like. So as you can hear, it's a very soothing sound and it lasts quite a while. So, there's a couple breaths that happen before the end of the tone. So it's just a way to, slow down, come back to the moment, and be able to really pay attention with one of our 5 senses to something that we are hearing in the moment.
This is one of the audio guided mindfulness practices in the module Mindfulness and the 5 Senses in Educalm Classroom. We do a whole 5-minute practice on this.
And if you're interested in checking that out, go to educalm.com/classroom.
Okay, number 8, taking a second to smell something.
Yeah. So all of our 5 senses are anchor points that bring us back to the present moment because our 5 senses are only acting in the present moment. Our thoughts can move to the future. Our thoughts can move to the past. Our thoughts can start imagining things, can do all sorts of things. So a great way to bring us back to the present moment is by focusing on one of our 5 senses, which are always anchored to what is currently happening in the present moment. So just taking a second to, you can smell your shirt or your hair or essential oils if that's something that is permitted in your classroom, which more and more are. I'm hearing of lots of teachers that are having essential oil diffusers in their classroom and things like that. So yeah.
Or books.
Smell a book. Ooh, yeah.
I don't know. I have a weird thing for that, I guess.
I think lots of people like the smell of books.
Yeah. I don't know why. It's so strange.
Brings back
Maybe
good
it's
memories.
just because I love books. I just love reading.
Yeah.
I don't know. Okay, so number 9 is one that we've kind of already touched on, just the one hand on heart and one on belly.
Yeah. So just ask your class, okay, one hand on your heart, one hand on your belly, and of course do it with them to demonstrate, and just take a nice deep breath or take the moment to feel your heart beating.
We actually had Carolina on the episode number 28, so not that long ago. The episode's called How to Juggle It All, and she talks about how she uses this with her grade 1 students, and it's so cute because at the start of the year, she models this to them, and then once they know it, they use it as a signal in their classroom. So if one kid, is going from 0 or 1 to 5 or whatever, another kid will kind of just, without saying anything, just model that, put the hand on the belly and on the heart. And then it's kind of a reminder for that child that they have the power to return to calm.
Yes.
So super cute. I love this strategy.
Yeah. I always also love strategies that help you to get your classroom's attention without the use of noise, right? If you can develop this as a practice that every time we do hand on heart, hand on belly, it means that we're returning to focus. And after time, all they have to do is see that you have one hand on heart, one hand on belly, and they they model that back or they mirror that back. And then all of a sudden the whole class is silent without you having to have said anything. Whew, I like that because classrooms can be noisy places.
Yes.
So if we can get their attention in a way that doesn't include yelling above their noise level, that is wonderful.
I think I'm going to get on that. That's great. Number 10, start class by repeating an affirmation.
Yeah.
So do we want to quickly, just a quick tidbit of what affirmations are? It's something we have in our growth mindset module as well.
Yeah. So an affirmation is a positive statement that helps you feel the way that you want to feel. So for example, if you are feeling overwhelmed, you recognize that you're feeling overwhelmed, you would prefer to feel calm. So then you say, I am calm. So it's something that you say as a present statement that it helps your brain to connect to that statement, which then helps your body to follow it. So our thoughts create our emotions. When we are thinking the thought, I am calm, it helps us to create the emotions of calmness.
And this reminds me, you interviewed Danielle Lefko a couple weeks ago, episode 32. Mindfulness in the Classroom with Danielle Lefko. And she had an affirmation with her kindergartners. What was it again? Can you remind me?
It was so cute. It was, in kindergarten, we think calm, we feel calm.
Oh, so cute.
So with that nice little affirmation, it was also a reminder to them that their thoughts create their emotions. So when they are thinking calm thoughts, they are feeling calm feelings. And it was a great affirmation for the class to do together. In kindergarten, we think calm, we feel calm. It's kind of like setting an intention for how we want the class to go or how we want the moment to feel.
So good.
Yeah.
Okay. And that brings us to the end. That's it.
10 ways to infuse your classroom with mindfulness.
And if this is something that you want to explore further, I read this great book. It's called Mindful Games by Susan Kaiser Greenland. I'm not sure how to say that middle part. But there's tons of mindful games in there. And a lot of them are just very short. And you can do them with really young kids or older kids. So if you want to explore that, find the book. We'll put in the show notes.
Absolutely. Also, in Educalm Classroom, we do have practices for transition times. So that's in the bonus section. So they're about 5 minutes if you want like a longer transition to sprinkle in throughout your day, in addition to your formal practice. That's there for you Educalm Classroom teachers as well. So if you want to check out the show notes to see all the links and the things that we talked about in this episode, just go to podcast.educalm.com/TBE, as in the Balanced Educator, 034. We made a PDF of the 10 ways to infuse mindfulness into the school day for you so that if you weren't taking notes during this episode, you have the whole list there so you can remember all these little ideas that we shared with you today. You can find that in the Balanced Educator free resources. So go to educalm.com/the Balanced Educator to get this free printout of the 10 ways to infuse mindfulness into the school day that we talked about today. All right, friends, so your exit ticket for today. Today you learned how to infuse your classroom, your day with mindfulness, with an informal practice, little things you can sprinkle throughout the day. But remember, mindfulness is a skill that we teach over time, just like reading or math, anything that we teach in the classroom. It takes our brain time to learn that skill. It has to be done daily or frequently. So if you are ready to teach this skill in an intentional way, then we have Educalm Classroom ready to go for you. A full year of mindfulness practices for every single day throughout an entire school year. How cool is that? So if you want to join us in Educalm Classroom, go to educalm.com/classroom. That's EDUCALM. educalm.e/classroom. And if you want more information, you're still on the fence, go to podcast.educalm.com and find our blog post called What is Educalm Classroom and Is It Right for Me? And of course, guys, if you have any questions, you want to contact us, just go to our website, educalm.com, and click on the Contact Us section and ask us any questions you might have. We are here for you. All right, so what are we up to this week at Educalm? This week we have our first Facebook Live for our Educalm classroom teachers, our Educalm teachers, and our Educalm ambassadors. So anyone that has taken or is currently using our programs, we are getting into Facebook in our private community to answer your questions. So for those of you, if you're just hearing this on the Monday, our Facebook Live is on Wednesday, and we sent you an email last week asking you if you have any questions. So if you haven't answered that yet, make sure to do that. And we are so excited to connect with you all and see how the start of your school year is going and support you along the way. All right. Thank you so much for being here. Have a wonderful week. Hey there, Balanced Educator. We appreciate you and the work that you're doing in the world. We are here to support you, so we've created a free resource library for you to use anytime you want. Resources for mindfulness for you and your kiddos at home or in the classroom. You can get these free resources by going to www.educalm.com/The Balanced Educator. Again, that's www.educalm, that's spelled educalme.com/The Balanced Educator. Thank you for being a part of our Educalm community.